Good evening, everyone. My name is Jiza Page, and I would like to call to order our public hearing under Rules and Reference for the Clean Zone licensing. The purpose of this committee hearing is to discuss upcoming legislation to regulate certain commercial activity on public property during special events. In connection with the upcoming 2018 NCAA Women's Final Four, the proposed legislation would authorize a portion of the downtown area to be designated as a clean zone. A clean zone is a geographically defined boundary for which a special permit is required to lawfully sell or distribute licensed and/or special event-related services or goods during a limited and specific time period. I would like to thank Council President Hardin for joining us this evening, and I would like to briefly begin by having all of those who are here to testify this evening to introduce yourself as well as any organization that you are representing. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Page, President Hardin. My name is Adam Friedman. I'm representing the Mayor's Office, and I'm a Senior Policy Advisor.
I'm Kelly Castle, License Manager for the City of Columbus.
I'm Alexandra Pickerel, Assistant City Attorney.
I'm Linda Logan, Executive Director of the Greater Columbus Sports Commission, and also part of the Columbus Local Organizing Committee for the Women's Final Four.
Michelle Perry with the Columbus Local Organizing Committee.
Eric Archibald with the Greater Columbus Sports Commission as well as the Columbus Local Organizing Committee.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. Council President, do you have any initial comments? Thank you. But we will now begin with our testimony with Mr. Adam Friedman.
That's it? Okay. Councilmember Page, President Hardin, thank you for this opportunity to address Council here in this hearing. On behalf of the administration, I'm happy to present this overview and answer any questions you may have regarding the Clean Zone. The Clean Zone is, first and foremost, temporary and limited duration. It is defined as a geographic area within the public right-of-way designated by council ordinance in which all regulated businesses must apply for and obtain a clean zone license in order to lawfully sell, distribute, or offer for sale or free of charge any special event-related services or goods. The purpose here is to preserve the health and safety of all citizens, visitors, and participants, to preserve the aesthetic qualities of the downtown and short north areas, and to prohibit ambush marketing. Ambush marketing is any regulated business engaging in commercial activity in the clean zone without a clean zone license that misleads consumers into believing that such regulated businesses are officially associated with this special event, including the fraudulent use of official names and trademark. Or ambush marketing can be that which is performing marketing activities in the designated clean zone to dilute the presence of sponsors or regulated businesses that have obtained a clean zone license. This applies only by ordinance for each particular special event and requires a separate ordinance to enact. A regulated business not engaging in a special event-related commercial sales or marketing within the designated clean zone is not required to obtain such license. We anticipate this clean zone would be valid from Wednesday, March 27th at midnight to Sunday, April 1st at midnight, encompassing the NCAA Women's Final Four, which is March 30th through April 1st of this year. The city's license section is authorized to issue these clean zone licenses. However, an applicant must get prior approval from the Columbus Local Organizing Committee as well. Previously authorized vendors and regulated businesses are not required to obtain a clean zone license to engage in business that they already have obtained a license or program permit to conduct. We have suggested some preliminary boundaries for the clean zone, and I believe we have a map of that as well. If you're able to view the screens, it is a suggested 4.5 square mile area, which encompasses the location site. I don't have the Thank you. The geographic boundary of this clean zone would be bounded by Gooddale Park on the north, Huntington Park and Bicentennial Park on the west, the Southern Theater on the south, and Columbus Commons on the east. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Friedman. And really briefly, could you discuss how the boundaries were decided?
The boundaries were taken into consideration with recommendation from the Columbus Local Organizing Committee, in addition with consultation from the City Attorney's Office respecting First Amendment rights and things of that nature.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions for Mr. Friedman? Seeing none, our next testimony will come from Linda Logan, Executive Director of the Greater Columbus Sports Commission. Welcome, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Harden, Councilwoman Page. Happy to be here today. Excuse the stuffy nose. But as you probably remember, we've been working to bring the Women's Final Four to Columbus for over 10 years. So the fact that we're 65 days away is pretty exciting for all involved. And this clean zone was part of the original bid for the Women's Final Four, that we knew that we would have to come before you with a public hearing, and got some great input from many city employees to assist us in our efforts. Also took into consideration sort of the main focus of the weekend's activities with Nationwide Arena, the Greater Columbus Convention Center, a lot of our downtown hotels where our visitors will be coming. The event is expected to raise between $20 to $25 million worth of direct spending to the community, and I know that we're very excited to be able to be host to this big event that will touch all ages. There's programming for young children all the way to seniors, and there'll be some great legacy programs that will certainly be a part of that, including a court restoration for our Rec and Parks Department and the community, along with a lot of other programming to follow. So I will have Michelle Perry speak next on behalf of the Columbus Local Organizing Committee.
Thank you, and thank you, President Harden and Councilwoman Page, for the opportunity to be here tonight. In addition to Linda's comments, I would just add that in working with Adam Friedman and his staff, what is included in this proposal or this ordinance also encompasses the requirements that are put forth by the NCAA as a element of hosting the Women's Final Four. So these were very specifically spelled out in their bid requirements, and we have just come before you with the hopes of bringing those to life and making sure that we're executing their requirements and meeting all of their policies and procedures.
Thank you, Linda and Michelle. Eric, do you have anything to add? Have you all had any communication, recent communication with NCAA, and are they satisfied with what the City of Columbus has done so far as it relates to the clean zone?
They are. As a matter of fact, we had an opportunity to spend time with them yesterday, and we gave them an update, and they're very comfortable with where we are and anxious to see this move forward and be put into place.
Thank you. Any additional questions? President Harden.
Thank you again, Chair Page. The question I had around enforcement, and I'm not sure who's the best person to answer that question. How do we see the enforcement going of this piece? Are we expecting additional police presence in this zone during the playoffs or during the games, and how have we thought through that portion?
We have, in several meetings, talked about partnering with investigators from the NCAA, as well as CPD, who will be performing special duties there. The license section intends to work the entire event. We'll have a training along with those particular investigators, lawyers, whoever comes in to do that and do it in a corroborative manner.
Thank you, President Harden. And our final testimony this evening will come from Ms. Kelly Castle, License Manager, the City of Columbus Department of Public Safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Page, President Harden. I brought a brief PowerPoint slide deck just to kind of walk you through the procedure of the nuts and bolts of how someone will actually obtain a clean zone license. Get the clicker here. Okay. There will be an application, a background check, and an actual issuance of an actual paper license that they will be required to display in their booth or wherever it is they're stationed within that clean zone area. The application pretty much gives all their personal identifying information. They have to provide identification, of course. There's a copy of the application itself. They will go get a BCI background check at any web check location. There are 17 right here in the city. At their convenience, they go. It can take anywhere from 7 to 45 days. It's usually quicker. It's usually 3 to 7 days. It's only longer if somebody has an issue come up within that background check, or their name is Tom Brown, and there's 18,000 Tom Browns to sort through. They will come in person. They will pay a $10 application fee. They'll go get their background check, and then they'll come in one more time to show us that they have approval from the CLOC about where their location within that clean zone is going to be, and they will then be issued the license. There's a picture of a sample license. And again, that license must be on display. They have to produce it at the request of any law enforcement officer or license officer per the code. So the timeline is kind of that. We're hoping that it's shorter, but that's why we wanted to start now and not wait in case somebody got hung up on a background check. There is no fee for this particular license, which is unusual, but chances are they're going to already have a commercial sales license through the city. So this would be an add-on for just this temporary event. So there's no fee per se for the clean zone license.
Thank you, Ms. Castle. Could you speak briefly on if any items are confiscated, just what that process is?
Well, there's two routes that normally would take place in this. I'm told that the NCAA will be sending a couple of attorneys, and they can take some civil action with as far as impoundment goes, if they so choose. I'm sure we'll partner with them and with CPD as far as chain of evidence issues as to who wants to keep anything impounded. Within the Clean Zone Code, it's a third-degree misdemeanor if we choose to write a citation. And it does carry the authority to impound immediately any counterfeit, items.
So as far as the cost for special duty officers, is that paid from the NCAA or from the commission that has been created specifically for this event?
The NCAA would hire off-duty CPD to supplement their enforcement efforts.
Thank you. And has that conversation already started with the Columbus Police Department?
It has not. So upon approval of this, we'll put those wheels in motion next.
Great. And then my final question, I promise, this may be for Ali or Adam. Have we seen in the past any legal challenges against cities for enacting a clean zone ordinance?
That's a great question, Councilmember Page. Other cities, Indianapolis, for example, cities in Texas who have hosted major events, major special sports events of this nature, have encountered legal challenges based upon challenges to the First Amendment, free speech. Generally, I wouldn't go into detail because there's a lot of minutia involved in there, a lot of legal jargon, but cities seem to come out on the victorious end of these legal battles. Basically, what we're trying to do here is prevent those who are going to come into our city and try to capitalize on the NCAA event using NCAA or using unlicensed NCAA paraphernalia, signage, banners, anything for sale, including tickets, things like that, fake tickets, without prior approval from the NCAA. And so we also want to limit our constitutional liability to a reasonable clean zone. We think that what we're putting forward here is going to put us in the best position for this clean zone and for future clean zones. Thank you.
Thank you. And education efforts for the businesses that are located within this clean zone, when do we expect that to start? And if you can just talk briefly about the interaction.
So this was part of our conversation with the NCAA yesterday. We've asked them to help us pull together educational materials that will help us both from a clean zone standpoint as well as with a trademark protection standpoint. So informing those businesses in the Arena District, the Short North, anyone within this clean zone boundary of what is approved or what is what they can do and what they can't do. And so our outreach will begin mid-February, early March to make sure that we're communicating that clearly with those businesses, along with an opportunity for us to engage those businesses to distribute a lot of women's Final Four specific material. So we're asking, again, the NCAA to help us with those materials, in addition to Adam and his team, to make sure that we're crossing all of our T's and dotting our I's and communicating effectively.
If I may add, in speaking of these other cities that have done this, some of these other clean zones in other cities are permanent. Ours, we're putting forth, is temporary in nature and has to be enacted by council ordinance every time the city would want to have a clean zone, and it's limited in duration. So I just wanted to put that out there. And this is not going to put a burden on any commercial business out there or vendor who already has a commercial license or selling food, things of that nature. Doesn't prevent them from operating their normal course of business. This is literally just to prevent someone from, like I said, capitalizing on unlicensed NCAA trademarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional comments or questions? President Harding.
Chair Page, I just want to say thank you for your leadership and the work that you've done on this, and really want to celebrate the work of the Columbus Sports Commission. It is exciting that we get to have this conversation because we are attracting events like the Women's NCAA this year. So thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for putting us on the map. Certainly thank the mayor's office and, again, working with Councilmember Page and city attorney and all those folks who helped us think through this process. That's it.
Thank you, President Hardin. And again, I echo your sentiments to thank you all for the work that you have put into getting the clean zone ordinance legislation and working with the NCAA, as well as bringing together those who are members of the Columbus Local Organizing Committee together, and to make sure that we have a successful event and that we are supporting all the young athletes who will be here for the Women's Final Four. Again, I'd like to thank President Harden and also my staff this evening for working with the Mayor's Office and Mr. Adam Friedman to put this hearing together. That's Rolanda Hampton and Sherry Martin, and I thank CTV as well. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Bye.